two, one. Yo, welcome into Two Guys One Pod Fantasy Football Podcast. I am back. It's been a while. I, by the way, am the legendary ball knower, aka your favorite podcaster, aka Chef Dor Sanders, aka Chef GPT, and I'm here today joined by the man who has the world record for basketball bounces with no hands in 1 minute. I'm here with Addison, the Nard Dog, Sleaze Bag Sleazak. Brother, how are we doing today?
Hey, man. I am doing quite all right. You know, my flag football team got a win this week. That's really all that matters to me. Like, dude, Chicago flag football, it might be more intense than Canadian Football League. Like, it's out there. Like, I got a busted pinky first game. My jersey got torn off. Like, they play hard here. I like it.
That's really funny because I've got a buddy of mine, like my quarterback in college still plays like contact flag football in Colorado.
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
And so he travels, they have a travel team. They travel, one year they went to Vegas, and our other best friend lives in Vegas, and they were playing a tournament in Vegas, and I was like, well, this seems like a good excuse to get the gang together. So we went out there, and I was like, oh, this is actually really intense. It's really fun. But the only problem was, like, they were doing a 7-on-7 tournament in Las Vegas in August, outdoors.
That's toasty weather right there.
Yeah, it was like 97 at 8 a.m. I was like, this is not. I've almost died from heat exhaustion a couple times. So I was like, yeah. So, hey guys, at some point, I'm just gonna go just be in the air conditioning for a while. It doesn't matter what kind of, like, my body just does not do well with extreme temperatures. So yeah, that flag football, adult flag football, you've seen like the 37U football clips, have you not?
Oh yeah. Yeah, 100%.
Like that contact flag football and 37U are just it's close. They're closely related. I'll just say that. So basically full contact flag, the premise behind it, before we move on from this really quickly, is in the trenches. So you got 3 linemen that you can put down, and you have a back there if you want to, but nobody does that. But like the trenches are full contact. Like you can bull rush, just straight.
That's what I was gonna say. The trenches, like, I'll be honest, I'm fully into it. Like it is the best stress reliever in the world because I haven't played contact football in so freaking long, and the trenches are the best part.
Yeah, I mean that is, they say that, like, when you hang it up, it's just you never get to experience that. You never get to experience that again because there's nobody's going and saying like, hey, let's play pickup offense and the offensive and defensive line, and I'm going to do some pass sets, or I'm going to work some pass rush moves, just for kicks and gigs. But yeah, enough about my things that may or may not require a safe word. Let's get into the game. We're here today to get into the game previews, and all jokes aside, this is a pretty rough 1 p.m. slate. We're going to be sans Lamar. We're going to be sans the chosen one, your favorite guy, JJ McCarthy. We're going to be without Chuba Hubbard and Tyreek Hill, and we're going to be most likely without Brock Bowers. Kenny Moore's going to be out for the Colts, and pretty much Tyrone Tracy Jr. in that Giants game. So we're going to run through the 1 p.m. slate. We'll start with the Vikings and Browns. Are you ready to get into it, brother?
Oh yeah, always ready. Let's go straight to Browntown, man. Let's talk about this Vikings Browns game. JJ McCarthy's out. What?
Okay. All right. Just gonna speed right past. Let's get into Browntown.
It's been a long day.
That's fair. That's fair. All right, we can skip past it.
My phrasing meter is just gone right now.
Oh yeah, yeah. You're cooked. Absolutely cooked. Yeah, we can get into it.
But you know what? That's a good illusion. We can talk about one other thing before we get into it. The teams on bye are some of the most fantasy relevant teams we're going to get this year. Chicago Bears have a lot of weapons.
Yep.
Falcons, you have a ton of players on the Falcons that you want to play.
Yep.
Packers have been an offensive juggernaut at times this year. And DK Metcalf on the Steelers. Come on, you got to be loving watching DK play well.
I mean, it's nice.
I'm happy for him.
It was good. It was good. It was good last week. Still
it's been a little
season high on targets, still just right there at 7. So just following the Arthur Smith playbook. 117 is the cap for those of you who don't know. But if you're looking for replacements for Josh Jacobs, DeAndre Swift, DK Metcalf, Drake London, most importantly, Kyle Pitts, Michael Penix, Jordan Love, Matthew Golden, Tucker Kraft. If you're looking for replacements for any of those guys, probably don't look at this Vikings-Browns game because that's super gross. So
that was a good
we've got the 22nd highest implied point total on the week. Vikings are implied to score 19.5 points with Carson Wentz at under center. They're going to be without Ryan Kelly, Donovan Jackson, and potentially Christian Darrisaw, franchise left tackle, taking on the Browns, who have quite literally the most fearsome front four in the entire NFL. So let's just start there. Where do you lean on this game? Is there anybody where are we starting, sitting? How are you operating here with this game with such a terribly low over under of 35.5, Addy?
The first thing I'd say is the Browns have a capability to actually shut down a part of your game plan that you are trying to function on. When we're looking at the Vikings, that part of the game plan is Jordan Mason. Their O-line is absolutely decimated. And the reality is Myles Garrett is going to be able to stop Jordan Mason from getting a full workload like he should this game. But on the offensive side, I think you still have to play Justin Jefferson. I think if you're in a pinch, you can play Jordan Addison. He looked good last week. He looked healthy coming off the suspension, but I wouldn't feel good about it. Like, if there was ever going to be a game that could be around, like when I saw 19.5 as the implied point total for the Minnesota Vikings, I thought that was the over-under.
So, needless to say, we're going to break out the captain underpants unders this week. And we are absolutely going under on 35.5. No. All right. Is there anybody you feel great about playing in this game besides Justin Jefferson?
With Dillon Gabriel, I guess Quinshon Judkins. I think Judkins has firmly established himself as one of the premier talents out of this class, as he should. We were hyping him up all offseason, yourself largely on this one. I think he has absolutely validated that talent profile and should continue to get 90% of the opportunity share. So Quinshon is the only guy I can justify on the Brown side. With Dillon Gabriel in, I'm not starting Jerry Jeudy. I'm not starting Cedric Tillman. I'm not starting Harold Fannin. I'm not starting David Njoku. Are you?
Well, Cedric Tillman's on IR, so absolutely not starting Cedric Tillman. Just for the record, if
this
you're
season's
new here,
been a fucking murder field. Jeez.
Yes. Yeah. If you're new here, players that are on IR can't score fantasy points. Just so you guys know. But
I don't more than Dillon Gabriel.
That is also true. It could be safer than playing Dillon Gabriel against Brian Flores' defense. Let me ask you this. Do you have any inkling to play Isaiah Bond?
If it was still Joe Flacco, yes. But it's not.
Right.
So no.
So, I mean, Isaiah Bond, I think he was up to 55% of the snaps last week. 3 for
8 targets?
Yeah, 6 targets. Six targets,
yeah.
3 for 50, 3 for 58. So that's an intriguing name to stash for potentially, because Oh, this is another thing. The Browns chose not to elect to take their bye after this game. So they travel back to play in Pittsburgh next week in week 6. Super cool. But like, I'm pretty sure that I'll get banned by the FCC if I keep talking about a game with a 35-point over-under involving the Browns. So let's move on to Texans Ravens. So we already talked about it. Lamar's going to be out. This is a game that does have, it does have a decent, I want to say it's like 44.5. I got that somewhere. I had this in the notes and then, technology and whatnot. So, we'll get there eventually. Yeah, 42.5 point over under. We've got some real star power in the game, but I mean, we're hamstrung by less than ideal offensive environment. So what's your lean here? Do you like, the Texans are currently 3.5 point underdogs to the Cooper Rush led Baltimore Ravens. Now that line's probably going to change. I know Lamar just got ruled out today, so I expect a ton of line movement, probably to either Ravens -1 or a pick 'em. But again, I've talked a lot. Tell me about what your leanings are with this game.
Well, let me tell you what the line moved to first. Line moved to 40.5 as well as -1.5 to Houston.
Oh, that's huge.
Yeah, which I'll be honest, I don't actually love. I haven't seen anything from Houston that makes me think that they are a competent NFL franchise right now. They can play defense, but like Laramie Tunsil has been absolutely tearing it up for Washington this year.
Yeah.
Whoever is replacing Laramie Tunsil has not been tearing it up for Houston. I know it's a couple different guys, so I'm not going to try and get all three of them. But like, if Houston can't put together a competent offense this game, when are you going to feel good about playing those guys? Because it hasn't looked good. Like, do you have any confidence there? Because I feel like this could be a Derrick Henry 30 carry 200-yard game.
So very, very, very interesting here. The Ravens, I'm just looking at it from the show sheet. We've got starting cornerback Marlon Humphrey out. Cheeto Awuzie, or Kuzie?
That's good.
Akuzie?
Yeah, it's Awuzie. That was fantastic.
Look at the show sheet. That NFL.com I don't know who spelled this shit, but they do better, man. It's Awuzie. Titans legend Chidobe Awuzie, who we cut, and he should be starting on the anyway. Roquan Smith also out. Patrick Ricard out. Kyle Hamilton is questionable. Like, this is one, they've been very disappointing on defense. I'm not the biggest fan of their defensive coordinator, Zach Orr, but I am rooting for them. I'm always rooting for Baltimore to turn it around because it just doesn't feel, as a former defender, it doesn't feel right in my soul when Baltimore's not good on defense. Like, them just getting run roughshod through, like, a girl who had too many drinks on prom night is just not what I'm into. Okay? It's not fun. I mean, I've given up 37 points at least 37 points in 3 of their 4 games so far. And again, no Lamar. So wheels up. Let me ask you if you disagree. Wheels up for Nico Collins.
Yes.
Wheels up for Woody Marks.
Yes, sadly. I was believing in Chubb, but it's time.
Oh, it's over.
Marks looks fine. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Is there anybody else? CJ Stroud, yes, obviously. More bullish. Yep. More bullish. I believe I had him at like quarterback 6 or 7 in our rankings, which, by the way, shameless plug, go download the League Champ app. We're working on a social media feature to where you can just like go out and like post your rankings or have them and send them to your buddies. So you'd be like, look at my rankings. I'm better than you. So yeah, go to the App Store and download League Champ today. App Store and Google Play Store. I'm on the Google Play side of it. Never Apple, never ever, not even if there's a fire, not even if my balls were on fire, not even if Steve Jobs came to my house and told me that he would make me a spokesperson for Apple. Maybe then, but he's dead, so it's not gonna happen. But on the Baltimore side, we had quiet week for Zay Flowers last week, even though he was running around absolutely wide fucking open. It's been bad for Derrick Henry pretty much outside of week 1, and it's a volume issue. And, what are we doing with Mandrews? What are we doing with Rashad Bateman? Are we doing anything with those guys this week in a 40.5 point over under?
I actually feel okay about Mandrews in this one. If there was ever a time to start a tight end, it's the kind of rookie backup QB correlation to tight ends. The second that you get a guy in there that isn't as comfortable with the playbook, they are going to go for the shorter routes more often. That's why we saw Zay Flowers so freaking open that game, because Cooper Rush ain't going to throw it deep. He doesn't want to. They have no initiative for him to do that. He's trying to maintain that role. Mandrews is a solid tight end. Isaiah likely could get some run this game. I want to believe that there's still hope for DeAndre Hopkins, but he gets 4 snaps a game, so I won't go there. Rashad Bateman, no, I don't feel comfortable starting Zay Flowers this week. Do you?
So honestly, I'm a little bit less trepidatious about Cooper Rush than I am about most backup quarterbacks. Now, am I starting him as anything other than a desperation QB2 in a super flex format? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But you brought up an important point before I don't want to spend too much more time here, because without Lamar, this game just kind of goes straight into the toilet. But are you the dump offs? Would you be more confident playing a guy like Justice Hill this week? Does he enter the conversation when we're talking about, streamers, bye week replacements? How are we feeling about Justice Hill?
Well, I know everyone's looking at the box score and saw the 70-yard touchdown and the other one that he got last week. So he's sitting at like 30 points.
Right.
That was garbage time. Justice Hill has the potential to score 15 for you, but I'll be honest, this isn't the game that I want to be starting Justice Hill for. If they were playing like the Buffalo Bills this week, I would be thrilled about Justice Hill. I would say that is a safe flex play because Derrick Henry ain't going to be able to play it that whole game with Cooper Rush in there. But against the Texans, like, the Ravens need this win. I see them playing the most conservative football they can possibly play. Hell, if they don't, that's crazy. They got a lot of confidence in Cooper Rush, and that's awesome. But like, I wouldn't feel good about that. So I don't want to play Justice Hill. I say you let the people that are box score watch and do that. But I know you said that this was the last important one. I got one more important one for you. Yeah,
come on.
We're both Shedeur Sanders fans here. You know the fun thing to think about? If Shedeur Sanders was on the Ravens draft board, he notably told them he didn't want to play there. If Shedeur Sanders was in a Ravens uniform this week, he would probably be starting. And instead, he is in Cleveland. I've been to Cleveland. That's a rough hand he drew there.
I mean, hey, sometimes you make your bed, you got to lie in it. So let's move on to another really, really sad place to lay your head in bed.
God, these games are so bad.
Yeah, the 1 p.m. slate's not great. Play if we're gonna do.
We're like, me and JC are all hyped up. We're like, we're gonna get back together on this one. We're gonna tear it up. We got this nice show sheet. Looking at these games, it's like, it's like we're looking at my least good fantasy roster, man.
Yeah, it's like doing a roster review of a team that has zero hope whatsoever. Speaking of rosters with no hope, we've got the Dolphins and the Panthers in a 44.5 point over under. Now this game does have some chance for fantasy goodness. We do have Chuba Hubbard out. Like I said, Tyreek Hill's also going to be out. So we have Rico Dowdle in the factor back feature role. We're going to have the debut of full-time Malik Washington, who's been one of my favorites throughout the entire draft process. And, we had the reemergence of at Rackwall 83, Darren Waller came out of retirement, made his debut on Monday Night Football, and cashed a 2 touchdown bet for those of you who were so gambling inclined. So where do you want to start with this one? I mean, obviously Jalen Waddle is a must start. Devon Achane's a must start. I feel like Tetairoa McMillan, I personally feel like he's a must start, but I get why people would not be on it. I think he's a superstar. You heard it here. I'm on board with everybody who thinks he's a superstar. And like the results, much like Chris Olave's expected fantasy points, far outpacing his actual production. Tetairoa McMillan's actual production on an NFL field is far ahead of his fantasy relevance. So where do you want to start here?
Well, you know the slander I've been putting on Bama Bryce for about a year, right? Like we've had that going.
Yeah.
I'm gonna mix it up here and say that Bryce Young is probably my favorite streamer this week. I think, yeah. We saw Tommy Tremble put together a competent offensive game at tight end. We saw Tetairoa and McMillan continue to look like a superstar. I don't feel great about having any doubt about that guy. We have their offense actually able to move the ball okay, and we have Chuba Hubbard out, suggesting that they might actually pass it a little bit more against Miami. Like, this could actually be kind of fun as a game. We might get to see Jalen Waddle and Malik Neighbor, or that just hurt a little bit. Malik Washington is one of my favorite guys to keep an eye on this year. We've seen so many plays that just looked like a hair away from actually being like alpha wide receiver plays. I didn't actually know you were a Washington guy too. I'm guessing the film matches the analytics on this one.
I was watching a random Virginia game and I was like, man, they're not gonna have anybody that I'm really interested in. But they had Malik Washington. And I don't even remember, like, because I wasn't really paying attention, but I saw a few of his touches in the 2023 game, and I was like, I'm gonna file this away. And then, we just kind of, you teeter around, like I wasn't as into film and making my own scouting reports as I am now. But yeah, I love Malik Washington just because I think he fits perfectly in Mike McDaniel's offense. And another thing that I don't know that it got talked about in draft time, but it doesn't get talked about now. Mike McDaniel was pounding the table, repeatedly texting once day 3 hit for their GM to take Malik Washington. Pounding the table when they have Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. He was very vocal about Malik Washington. So I expect, and I've drafted a bunch of Malik Washington in DFS this week. So I expect big things.
Oh yeah. Same exact boat here. How are we feeling about Rico Dowdle? I know you're a perpetual Dowdle hater. Like,
oh no, no. I'm not a hater. I'm just not. I just think he's.
You don't think he's. Yeah, you think he's average. I think he could be above average on a good day.
Okay. Okay. So I'm not going to derail us with that. We're going to fight about this offline though, because I have some comparisons, some this or that we need to discuss. But all right.
Oh,
so
I know. I'm not going to like those.
So obviously, Jalen Waddle in for you. Malik Washington probably in the flex. Rico Dowdle's in your lineup for sure. Personally, still very strong RB2 flex play if he's going to get to work. Hey, check your waiver wires for Trevor Etienne, little brother, and 5'9", 210 pound, 4.42 running rookie out of Georgia / the Gators. Go Gators, not dogs.
With good hands too.
Yeah, great hands. And also Tommy Tremble, strong play this week. The Dolphins play cover 2 at about a 30% clip. So that leaves middle of the field open, which is good for running backs and tight ends. Obviously, Devon Achane is everybody's favorite play this week from a DFS perspective. So yeah. Anything else you want to hit on with this game?
No. We have an interesting team we need to bring up here next. We got Raiders Colts.
Which is the interesting team that you want to mention here, Addison? Do tell.
I would say Indiana Jones is really the story here. We even saw last week they very narrowly missed out on a victory because of an Adonai Mitchell goofball play. I don't even know what to call that one. It's just such a you feel so bad for the guy, but you're also like, come on, man, hold on to it.
Well, I can't fault him as much as some of the other guys that just like throw the ball behind him, or like he was reaching out to actually reach it across
exactly
the pylon, not like Jonathan Taylor last year against the Broncos. Also, just not a great day for Adonai Mitchell, but we do have another opportunity here. The Raiders play the most cover 3 in the entire NFL. Hashtag Pete Carroll staple. And Adonai Mitchell's going to get another chance to start this week with Alec Pierce ruled out with a concussion. So he had 2 full days of practice this week, and then I guess some symptoms popped up and they immediately ruled him out. So we get another Adonai Mitchell thing. I've been clicking the button in DFS on Adonai Mitchell. Where do you land on that? Are you just, all right, look, it's JT, it's Tyler Warren and Josh Downs, submit, log out?
I really liked what I saw from Adonai Mitchell. That was what bummed me out about that game. Like he was finally starting to show that like top tier talent that you thought he might have had coming out. So yes. I think he's still a good play. Josh Downs has been one of those like extremely disappointing players to this point this year. I feel like it might not be a bad time to start buying in. Yes. Like, because he ain't bad like that. And we already saw Daniel Jones support Wan'Dale Robinson, and there is no way in heck that Wan'Dale Robinson is better than Josh Downs.
Not not ever. Not even if there is a fire.
No.
So yeah, they do have a potential out from Michael Pittman, who I knew it. I knew that this was a contract year for Michael Pittman. That's why he's acting so different. But yeah, Michael Pittman's in must start territory now. I mean, this is a great matchup for Michael Pittman. This is a great like outlier bet situation for Adonai Mitchell. Obviously Tyler Warren's locked in your lineup. I think I saw a stat to where he's got more yards through the first 4 weeks of his career than Brock Bowers did. So that's interesting.
So cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Suck it, Colston Loveland truthers.
Yeah. You heard me the second that pick came through. I was so mad. And everyone told me I was an idiot. They're like, Colston Loveland's actually great. You should have seen him at Michigan the 3 times they threw the ball.
Hey, listen, he's not bad. But hey, we don't have to let's switch over to the Raiders side real quick. And let's talk about, Brock Bowers is potentially out. Michael Mayer has a concussion currently. Is this going to be a heavy one? I don't really know what Geno Smith coming off. I think it's, a 3 interception performance. I don't really know how much they're going to trust Geno Smith. So does this seem like a heavy Ashton Jeanty game with no Brock Bowers potentially? He missed practice yesterday and Wednesday. And, are we just thinking that this is going to be another Ashton Jeanty legacy game?
Yeah. I don't know if it's going to be a legacy game. I think the Colts can actually shut him down a little bit. We've seen their defense actually put up okay, and to go along with that, they have been able to play the best ball control of any team in the NFL. Like, they're keeping the offenses off the field. But, the second Jeanty got that stance back, it's kind of crazy how quick he started looking like the running back he was in college.
I will tell you this. Chip Kelly is a fucking scourge, and he will try to ruin everything that is good about a player before having to just, it's a clash of personalities, honestly, because Pete Carroll's like, hey guys, we celebrate the individual. It is great. And Chip Kelly is just a huge fucking dickhead. So we could say whatever the fuck we want. Yeah, fuck Chip Kelly. I hate Chip Kelly. Legitimately, I do like it makes me really sad that we had to have Ashton Jeanty's first offensive coordinator be Chip Kelly, because we're just delayed. Like, it was supposed to be great from a run perspective, but you see that he tried for 3 weeks, he tried to fucking ruin Ashton Jeanty. So do with that information what you will. But Jakobi Meyers, he's locked in your lineup. Are you glory playing Trey Tucker with the buys?
No, 0% chance. Stick with Thornton.
Okay. All right. So you're in on Thornton, out on Tucker.
I'm out on both of them, but if I'm going to pick one, I'm going to pick the one that's a little bit taller.
Fair enough. Okay. Being able to reach the top shelf is sometimes a determining factor in our analysis. I'm with you.
I mean, Trey Tucker, we're still clinging to him absolutely tearing up Washington's defense.
That's a good point.
Cool.
That's a good point. Yep. Yep.
Michael Penix looks like the MVP against their defense, and that's not to say he's bad, but cool.
No, I'm with you. Yeah. Not the best. But let's move on to the last game that we're going to cover in the 1 o'clock slate. The Giants and Jackson Dart, the new hotness. The guy who saved Brian Daboll's job until December, or maybe a little bit later potentially. Jackson Dart and the New York Giants, Sans Malik Neighbors, RIP, get well soon, travel to New Orleans to take on the Saints. We've highlighted some of those matchups. Tyrone Tracy probably listed as doubtful to play. You've got, the rise of the Anglo-Saxon assassin, Cam Skattebo. And okay, so let's just start there. What are your thoughts about Cam Skattebo, and where do you feel like where are your leanings as far as where he slots in your rankings this week?
I have Skattebo right around that RB24 range, and it feels low, but I feel like his ceiling is what we're seeing right now. Devin Singletary ain't competition. He's not. Right. And Jackson Dart is apparently going to take off and run. I'll be honest, I don't see that lasting super long, but good for him. Little bit of rushing quarterback. He's got that sort of Alfred Morris corollary sort of thing. So we're seeing a bit of good vibes from Cam Skattebo. And to be honest, his aura is just off the chart. I haven't seen a player that's more fun to watch. He looks like Asselot back in the day. He is freaking insane. But I don't see him as an RB1. Do you? I feel weird saying that because I like the guy and I like the ceiling. I think he's an RB2.
Listen, I don't give you a nickname unless I think you can really play. And I comped him. So him and the guy that I comped him to in the process are back to back in my rankings this week in David Montgomery. So I've got Skattebo at 21 and Monty at 22. And Skattebo,
we're 3 spots apart.
You got him at 24?
Yep.
Yeah. He's getting workhorse volume, and that's got to be worth something. He falls in the end zone. He's he falls in the end zone, catches 3 passes. He's a top 12 running back on the week. I just can't bank on that being that insane level of volume. But again, I did say on the FFD earlier this week, I do on the football show, I do think that the way that there's a universe here, and we might be in it, where the Giants go on a Tim Tebow 2011 run where they just win every game 16 to 13, and it's Cam Skattebo, it's Cam Skattebo, it's Jackson Dart's legs, submit, log out. So I don't want to skate over the possibility that it's, that this could be a thing. I mean, I'm obviously in on Jackson Dart. I mean, he rushed for 600 yards twice in college. And that's including, that's with sacks and all that stuff included. So, and you saw that he clearly has juice from a legs perspective. So is there anybody else on the Giants offense that you're considering playing this week?
I don't hate Wan'Dale just because the short area of the field has to be open. I kind of lean Slayton over him, though. It's close. I don't have either of those guys very high in my rankings. They're both around that wide receiver 3-4 range, but Slayton's put together some quality games. And Jackson Dart, if there is one thing that I do think he can do extremely well, it was throw the deep ball to Trey Harris. Like,
correct.
I'd love to see that to Slayton a couple times if they don't hate Slayton. Like Slayton, why is he still in New York? I haven't seen a guy who's gotten a raw deal. Like,
and speaking of raw deals, we don't. I'm not going to spend too much time here, but they basically tried to like write him off so that they could cut him when Daboll was hired, and then he was like inactive for 2 weeks. And this is after him putting up like back-to-back like 800-yard seasons and being productive in one of the literal just shit can environments in the entire NFL. So he worked his way into being a starter and then worked his way into his extension. So good for him, first and foremost.
Yeah.
But I'm with you. Jackson Dart did have the most yards on passes of 20-plus yards in the NCAA last year. And so there is a world where they instantly have this crazy chemistry and Darius Slayton becomes an important piece. I just don't ever want to be in the camp of being on the Darius Slayton breakout. So I'll be hands off. But let's get to the Saints side before we go any further. The Saints, obviously, Alvin Kamara, you're starting him. Chris Olave, expected fantasy points. Goon, you're starting him. Through 3 weeks, Chris Olave was on pace for 210 targets, which would shatter the record held by Marvin Harrison Sr. at 205. Rashid Shaheed
should have had a passing touchdown too.
Yeah, he did catch a touchdown last week. Only the 3 receptions for 23 yards is kind of what bums everybody out, though.
No, I'm saying that interception. If the defender doesn't get his hand all the way up, that's not a pick. That should have been a passing touchdown.
That's fair. Yeah. That's fair.
It was a good throw.
That's a good point. And I'll probably add that in so you guys can see what we're talking about.
Yeah,
from the game last week. I'll put it on the screen so you guys can see what we're talking about. But Rashid Shaheed, the Giants play like the 4th most man coverage in the entire NFL. Are you interested in Rashid Shaheed with all these buys this week?
Always. Okay. I'm interested in Rashid Shaheed even when there isn't a buy. But
yeah. It hasn't been great.
So fun.
It hasn't been great for us thus far. And I
don't blame him.
Some very aggressive things on this podcast about what I think about Rashid Shaheed and potentially disparaging things about my bring home the bacon player this year, Jameson Williams, in comparison to Rashid Shaheed. But I think Rashid Shaheed is one of the elite talents in the NFL. He hasn't really, he led them in receiving last week, but that's not really saying much just because Buffalo just takes the air out of the ball and you've got 22 minutes in a 60-minute game to get done whatever you're going to get done. Juwan Johnson listed as questionable. He's in your lineup if he's playing. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Is there anybody, Kendre Miller, does he interest you at all as a desperation flex play?
Yeah, I want to say yes because I love that guy's prospect profile. One of my favorite ones that I've ever seen. Like he looks so good at TCU, and but I'm terrified. My wife literally asked me about him, and I was like, I love Kendre Miller, but you shouldn't trust me.
Yeah, I was out, and then I saw the way that he was moving in preseason, and he wasn't like hurt, and I was like, okay,
which is crazy.
We can do this. We can do this, but we don't need to do this. We don't have to be first. So, is there anybody else that we need to discuss on the Saints side?
No. I think we just went through about what like player 48 to 24 in each position group in our rankings. Like
yeah, pretty much. Yeah, that's gonna bring it. That's gonna bring it to like this is a really shitty 1 p.m. slate. But we went through the Browns, Vikings, Ravens or Texans at Ravens, Dolphins at Panthers, Raiders at Colts, and Giants at Saints. We might drop if you guys actually give this some attention. We might do a late game slate preview on Monday night, but we don't know. But if you made it this far, please, before you do anything else, give this show a like, download, subscribe. If you haven't already, again, go download the League Champ app. The leaderboard is up now. I'm in 4th. Fuckface McGee over there to my right is in first. We're gonna change that. But you know how else you can change it? By downloading the app and putting your ranks in and telling us why we're idiots. Did a really cool post on Reddit. That got what we've gotten each week has been about 90,000 views
on average. Like,
yeah, so
obviously a little drop off throughout the season, but can't
yeah,
hate.
Yeah. So we'll link all that. Like I said, go download the League Champ app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. If you haven't, go follow Addison. Addison, where can we find you on social media?
Yeah, you can find me at Duck League Champ, Duck like DUK. And I'm on that and all the
Duck like DUK?
Yeah. Like not the other duck.
Like you spelled duck.
It's been a long week.
Okay, so you can find him at Duck League Champ.
On out of here.
You can find Addison at Duck League Champ. That's Duck with a C, not DUK. You can find me. You can find me on Twitter at Chev90, and you can find everything that I'm working on in the Quantum of Chevis link tree. So, again, as I always leave you, there's ball watchers and there's ball knowers. Assign yourselves accordingly. Until next time.